So we're at the Brandy Library in Lower Manhattan, New York. Over 1,600 spirits from all over the world. The Brandy Library. If you walked into most libraries, you'd see books stacked end to end. Well, here, it's whiskeys in an elegant, refined, relaxed setting in New York. Ethan Kelley, who is the head spirits sommelier, thanks for having us in here tonight.
Not a worry, anytime. Always welcome.
And I'd always been hearing so much about the Brandy Library, and now I understand why it's called that.
Yeah, we got a few bottles in the place, so it's replaced, like you said, replace all the books with booze.
So you have how many different whiskeys here?
Hard to say at any given moment. I can tell you on the American whiskeys, we try to average about 120 is my goal. Single malt scotches, usually on average around 300, and then you have the blends and pure malts and things like that. I probably got another 100 of those, and probably an additional 100 Irish, Canadian, Japanese, New Zealand, and other little toys. So, and that's not any of the brandies or tequilas or rums or anything else. Too much is what I have.
And part of your approach is education, isn't it?
It's the cornerstone. I would say that's probably 80% of what we do. The owner really wanted that library feel. He is a bit of a student, and he's also been enamored with the old school bars of yesteryear that you don't see anymore. There's a lot of effort that goes into trying to maintain the ambiance. The question we get asked all the time is how many bottles have been stolen. And haven't lost one yet. So, you know, you sit, as you can see, you sit in the library. So, and those bottles don't have legs. So, I think that alone speaks volumes for the way the place is run. Well, the owner did a great job with the lighting, where it's all amber. He wanted you almost to feel like you were in the bottle, and it is really fascinating when I kind of miss bartending upstairs, and even when I do it now, I sit there and I can take this bird's eye view of the wall when somebody's asking you for a recommendation. And you know, I also used to be a school teacher, so you're sitting there just looking at all these bottles and listening to this person tell you the flavors they like or what they've had or what they're interested in. You're just scanning those bottles, and just like you said, it's each one's raising its hand until you just go, bam, that's the one. That's the one that's going to get it done.
You've been, how many? It's 5 years, right?
Yep, 5 years, October.
And during those 5 years, with regard to the bourbons and the American whiskeys, even some of the craft distillers, how have you seen things grow and change?
Boomed. It exploded. I don't think there was any slow growth about it. And the economy, if there's one great thing that can be said, helped. It really did help the bourbon producers. It helped in getting some Scotch guys to come over to the American side, primarily because of the pricing. In New York, not only are you seeing American whiskey fans, connoisseurs and beginners, but you're also seeing that this whole mixology thing coming up. But they're doing some great things, and bourbon and probably even more so rye has a huge part in that development.
We had some High West earlier,
yeah,
and some Mackenzie's
yeah, from the Finger Lakes.
Yeah.
I think the craft is selling. Like I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of it has to do with knowledge is out there now. You know, aside from the big legal distilleries, there are a few guys always having a little bit of fun on, you know, a back hill somewhere. And now with the internet and the cost of distilling equipment is still very, very expensive, but it's come down. It's not unattainable.
How would you define this place?
In two regards. Number one, I'd say first and foremost, education. Mm-hmm. And if you want to drink something new, we are always working very hard to bring in new product and to do what we can to have these things available to you. And the staff can explain it to you, and we have the classes as well. But on the other side, I think there's something really special about this bar, and that's saying, you want to know what? I really like this glass of bourbon. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to sit in a comfortable chair in a proper glass, and I'm going to enjoy a glass of it, and I am not going to listen to house music and get stepped on and knocked around and drink great booze out of a terrible glass. And I'm going to go enjoy myself.
And right now we're in the tasting room. We're upstairs. It's a really low light, beautiful ambience upstairs. Really beautiful down here. Kind of a different feel down here.
Yeah, it is. This is the room where we do the majority of the private tastings, where we have the master distillers come in whenever they do an event. They're normally down here. We like to get about 35 people right here. Literally no more seating than this, so the guys stand, walk around, talk, and these customers walk away with a level of knowledge that's been increased. I think a combination of all of these things, and certainly the craft beer movement, going back to the 80s, helped. I mean, you can't make good whiskey without good beer. It doesn't take much to get a ball rolling, and some of those guys did it, made a couple of bucks. I wouldn't call any of them wealthy, but they made some money, and other people said, well, shit, if I can do that, why can't I? I want to do this. And all of a sudden you have more people on, and then you have guys like Bill Owens who come in and try to rally these troops at the Distilling Institute. I think people are listening, and I think even the bourbon industry in Kentucky is paying a little bit of attention. Got a couple hundred craft distillers now.
How will that affect the way the bourbon industry, or even other industries that have a strong base, how will that affect the way they respond?
I just think it really is going to make them more astute. I mean, we have to understand the bourbon distillers are massive companies. These aren't, they're not playing. I mean, they're making products, and they're making great products, and they've been ruling the roost for a very, very long time. And nobody's been able to challenge them. And yeah, they've taken their hits. God knows that. We haven't treated our distillers kindly, but really, as far as flavor and quality of product goes, they've kind of been left unchallenged.